So on my last video, I had mentioned that maybe, just maybe, we should start doing some build videos for the ship itself. Because there are a lot of options when it comes to the ship, believe it or not. And I think we're going to cover that. But before we do, I'm going to give you guys 10 tips that I want you to really focus on, so that way you have a great start to a bunch of these ship builds. Before we even get started on that, by all means, please make sure that you subscribe and you ring that bell so that you never miss any of this content whenever it becomes available. I'm Darkshard, the YouTube Assassin. Let's get into this. So tip number one is actually going to be like one of the most obvious. It's going to be materials. You're going to need tons and tons of materials in order to upgrade all of these items, especially to the higher tiers. It gets really crazy, but it's really worth it. In order to do that, you're going to need tons and tons of materials. So one of the things that you're going to need is going to be these ancient tablets. Ancient tablets are going to be found all around the map. You'll go to various places, usually bandit camps and things like that, and you'll find these little areas where you'll have to not just locate all the other objectives that are there as far as killing bandits and doing whatever, but there will also be ancient tablets all around there. As long as you could find those tablets, that's going to help you early on to actually upgrade the ship. And then of course you're also going to have to figure out how you're going to get the materials. So the best advice that I could give you as far as materials goes is that when you're going around, save every bit of armor, weaponry, whatever you can find. See, here's an ancient knowledge tablet. This is what you're going to have to find. So here we go. Valley of the Snake Temple. As you can see, find ancient tablet. But as I was saying, get every piece of armor and everything that you can collect, and don't just sell it off or throw it away. Break it down. Something like this I'm obviously not going to use. Dismantle it, and there you have olive wood and soft leather. That's going to help out when you're upgrading the ship. So that's actually also what I used to do for the armor and weapons when I wanted to upgrade it to get from 1 to level 99. A lot of the things that you don't use, that you're going to run around and you're going to find all over the place, you just want to save that, and whatever you think is no good or unusable, you could either sell it off, or you could just look at it, break it down, and then you have extra materials. Trust me, this game is all about materials. The more material you have, the easier your life will be in several areas. My second tip, believe it or not, has to do with mercenaries. Everywhere you go, whenever you find a mercenary, make sure that you're constantly taking them out. It's going to be beneficial. What ends up happening is that each mercenary tier actually gives you some brand new benefits. So you're going to start here at 9. As you can see, 8 blacksmiths reduce their prices by 50%. 7 war contracts and bounties provide 20% more XP, drachmi, and crafting materials. And it just goes on. Now, here you go, tier 4. A professional carpenter now works on the Industria, reducing the cost of ship upgrades by 50%. Now, that is a lot, honestly. You're going to be spending so much in materials that for them to actually reduce the cost of ship upgrades by 50% is phenomenal. You're definitely going to need that. You're definitely going to need that boost, because the ship is going to need upgrades real fast, especially if you are upgrading, if you are leveling. This is really important. So really, you could see it's just all the way to tier 4. If you could at least get that, you'll definitely be able to make out like a bandit when it comes to upgrading your ship. Otherwise, you're going to be spending way more materials and way more energy trying to get to this tier in order to have that 50%. Now, as you go further along, like I'm tier S4, I have not just this benefit right here, but all previous benefits, so it stays with you. Just remember that, and remember that that's where you want to be. You see a mercenary, as long as it's around your level or lower, take it out. Take out as many of them as you can. Also get those materials that they have. They have weapons and gear and armor, and if you can't use it, you could break it down. Just remember, you need to get to this level to make it easier on you when you're upgrading.
Towers in position!
Number 3 is a big mistake that I see a lot of people make, especially those who are doing the XP glitches and the XP farms. If you advance too far, you're going to run into a lot of problems. Every one of these ships becomes the same level as the player themselves. So if you hit level 99, these ships that attack you are also going to be level 99. Now, why is that a problem? Because plain and simply, if you have a ship that is level 99 and your ship is not able to handle the attacks of these other ships because you're at the very beginning of building or constructing or advancing your ship, you're going to have a problem. You are not going to make it. You're going to get into these waters. You're going to go basically with a level 1 ship, and you're going to be fighting level 99 ships. Let me tell you, that is not fun. And you're going to have to make sure that you advance quickly as far as upgrades for the ship if you want to have any chance of battling these other ships. So make sure that the ship is growing with you. The Adrestia really needs to grow with the player, where you're upgrading it as much as you're upgrading your armor and your gear. If you don't, I'm telling you, you're going to find naval travel, especially naval battles, really, really difficult. Number 4, I want to tell you about upgrading the hull. You have to upgrade the hull at least 4 times in the beginning, so that way you could have room for your special lieutenants. Lieutenants need room, and the only way to get room from them is through the hull. Once you upgrade the hull, you have a space open for all these other lieutenants, and you're going to need that because the lieutenants are going to be the heart of a lot of these builds. Lieutenants have a bunch of special abilities, and trust me, if you don't have the hull space, you're not going to be able to recruit any other lieutenants. So make sure that one of the first things you're upgrading is the hull. In at number 5, speaking of lieutenants, every time you knock somebody out, you can recruit them for your ship. So I like to make sure that I had a ton of different people that I recruited, not just the ones that you could get off the Ubisoft store or that you could get from the Ecos of the Olympians, but all kinds of other people, mercenaries, world leaders, things like that. You take them out, you knock them out, and then you have the option to recruit them or just kill them. If you recruit them, you'll find that a lot of them have a lot of different abilities. So as you can see, Charon here, which is a special lieutenant that you get from the Ubisoft store, 30% ship health, 30% fire resistance, 30% health restored when cleaving. Those stats can help us in a specific build. All right? And as you can see, I have all kinds of guys. I have pole marks. I have just archers. I have all kinds of things. These guys are actual leaders. These are other pole marks, the Spartans, the Athenians. You keep going on. There are so many different ones that you could collect. Here's a, not the archer, but the marksman from Athens. And then in some cases, believe it or not, you'll even get doubles. Like here's Eratostheid and another Eratostheid. This one is actually a mercenary that I took out during one of the weekly resets or the mercenary week. This one has 30% ship health and 35% firepower when ramming. This one has 30% ship health, 25% health on all crew members. So a lot of them are different. Some of them have different capabilities, and I just like to collect them because you never know. Here's 2 Testiculos the nuts, and each one has a different power. They have totally different powers, these two. 30% Roa stamina, 25% damage inflicted by all crew members, 30% ramming damage, 35% damage influenced by Marines. So you just have to keep collecting them, and that's how you're going to make your builds. Also, one of the crazy things that you're going to find is that some of them, especially the mercenaries, you'll find a mercenary here in epic form, and then you'll also uncover them in legendary form. So that's also kind of cool that you could find them like that. So just make sure that you're constantly picking up people, whether they be legendary or epic, because they may help your ship build. There are a couple of other lieutenants, like this one is common. He only has 1 item. And then there's also some that are rare, the blue kind. And I really don't go for them either because they really don't have things that I need. But a lot of these other guys do. And the other thing that you got to understand is that before you can assign them to a section of your little 4 squares there for the lieutenants, you have to hire them. So as you can see, this one has a hiring cost of $45.46. This one is $34.44, $36.03. So before you can actually have them on your ship, you got to make sure you're able to hire them as well. That all depends on the person and their abilities. But definitely, I think that the list is actually infinite, that you can collect them. So by all means, collect as many as possible. It will help your ship build. One of the things that I've been asked is about the ship cosmetics. Ship cosmetics are basically the sails, the figureheads, and the crew. Now, in all honesty, the cosmetics do nothing for the ship. It just makes it look kind of like any which way that you want to. Make it look cool, make it look futuristic, make it look like, you know, a deep sea kind of thing. Things like that. It really doesn't do anything other than that. So you don't really have to concentrate on ship cosmetics unless you're actually into those things. Unless you see something that you really want and you want to add it and just make your ship look a little bit cooler than it once was. If that's your thing, then by all means, go for those cosmetics. But if you're going to be preparing for certain builds and whatnot, you really don't have to worry about the cosmetics. You really don't have to worry about what your sail looks like or what your ship looks like or anything like that. That doesn't affect anything. You don't get any extra strength, speed, rower stamina, or anything like that if you change your ship around. So don't even worry about that. Concentrate on materials and gaining lieutenants. Number 7 is this flamethrower. A lot of people always ask me, how do I get the flamethrower? So when you get the Hidden Blade DLCs, I believe it's the second one, there's a story about a ship captain. And that's where this comes into play. You unlock the secrets of the flamethrower and you can add it to your ship. The other thing that's kind of cool about that DLC is that you can also upgrade all these other things even further for more strength, more power, and more capabilities. It's actually pretty cool. The other thing that happens with the flamethrower is that it's pretty effective on water as you're attacking all these guys. All you have to do is go straight up to a ship, get close enough to it, and then you're just going to hit the R2 button as long as you have the stamina for it. If you have the stamina and the capabilities, you can burn an entire ship with it. And then, of course, like I said, with all the other upgrades, everything becomes a lot stronger. This does the same thing that your flame javelins and flame arrows will do. So there you go. It's burning. I could burn this thing to death. There it is, gone. At number 8, a lot of people have been asking also, do your abilities and masteries actually affect the ship? The answer is no. Your abilities and masteries only affect your fighting capabilities, your fighting style, and basically the outfits, the gear, the weapons that you use. It doesn't affect the ship whatsoever. You may need certain abilities for yourself when you're boarding the ships in order to attack them, if you're attacking crewmen on the ships, but it does not affect anything to do with the ship. So just remember that as well. Your ability points, your abilities are just for your fighting style, nothing to do with the ship. In at number 9, we have the lieutenant abilities. Now, I'm going to do an entirely separate video for lieutenant abilities so I could explain to you exactly what these abilities do. That way, you can understand why and how I tailor ships a certain way. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff. Fire buildup with arrows, firepower while bracing attacks, firepower segment refill after boarding, ship health, firepower per javelin hits. It goes on and on and on. A lot of different abilities. And each one, like I said, does a different thing. It has a different focus, and it helps out with a different sort of build. And again, these have nothing to do with your personal abilities or anything that you've got going on with your masteries. These things are separate. So another video that I'll be doing, again, I'm going to be going through all of these abilities and explaining exactly what they all do, what they all mean, and how beneficial they are to you. Because I know a lot of people just will throw lieutenants onto their ship just to put them there. They look cool, whatever, and that's all well and good. But if you really want to tailor a build to your ship, we're going to have to go through this. In at number 10, we have the Cultists and the Order of the Ancients. A lot of people are wondering if it's possible to get them on the ship. The answer is no. You cannot have a Cultist or any of the Order of the Ancients as a lieutenant because Cassandra or Alexios swore to destroy them all. Now, you can get the Cultist crew theme. That you can get. But there is no way you can recruit a Cultist or a Order of the Ancients to your ship. Would be cool. I'm pretty sure that would be OP. But sadly, you can't do that. So those were my 10 tips to get you started on your path to really getting some ship build started. We're going to be having a lot of fun with this series because a lot of you who are starting out get this opportunity to see these kind of builds. And those who have been around since day one, maybe you have fun with it too. But anyway, like I said, our next video, we're going to go over all the different abilities, and then we're going to get into like massive ship builds and doing some amazing stuff and seeing how it works out. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. It helps the channel out an awful lot. And as always, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. Until the next one, take care.